Another wonderful day here in Seefeld. We are getting ready for the team sprint in Norway with 4 out of 4 gold medals so far in cross country. Is this the day the tides turn, or is it just another normal day at the office for the skiing superpower? Welcome to the FIS Nordic World Ski Championship. And look at the weather. What a nice Sunday this turns out to be for the team sprint, the women and men, 3+ degrees. And wouldn't it be great if we could have 2 former world team sprint champions in the studio? And we do. Alex Harvey and Devon Kershaw, the winner in Oslo in 2011. You just had to ruin the home party in 2011 in Oslo.
Yeah, well, Norway is really good at skiing, but it's good to keep them honest and sometimes give them the second spot on the podium.
Right. Chrissy, I think we have some picture from that time, and I think it's in slow-mo, or is it?
It's 2011, Karsten, so things were a little slower back then.
Yeah, it was foggy that day as well, so everything is slower when it's foggy.
But the feeling to cross the finish line, and you hushed the crowd, was it?
I was #1 because we were #1. First time Canada was world champion, but it was an unbelievable feeling. And in a team event like that, on the result page, it says Canada, not Devon or Alex. So that was great to share it with the whole team.
But I remember some days later, then Petter Northug hushed you in the relay.
Well, I wasn't on the relay team. I think he copied my. He didn't have enough. He didn't have enough inspiration for his celebration move, so he took mine. That's good. That's fair.
But this team sprint, because today anything can happen.
Oh, anything can happen, absolutely. If you look at 2014 in the Olympics, people are crashing.
Oh, yeah.
And then look at Iversen and Niskanen last year. Could you have believed that Niskanen was going to lose over 5 seconds on that last leg, Alex?
Oh, no, it's crazy. But the team sprint, it's like a really hard interval workout, so the body can fall off. And then you ski in such close quarters that, yeah, there can be crashes and the energy can just drop all of a sudden. So it's really exciting. To me, it's probably the most exciting event in our sport. So I'm really looking forward to it.
And thank God that not the disqualification, but the qualification is over, because that's always the worst part for the big nations, right?
Oh, absolutely. I remember, Alex, when we were in 2013 doing this team sprint together, Paul Goldberg, absolute meltdown.
Yeah.
Norway, Petter Northug, Paul Goldberg doesn't even make the final.
Yeah, and then that was crazy. But I also remember 2011, our qualification, Devon Kershaw right here lost his ski in the qualification. So we barely made it, and then we ended up winning gold. So yeah, qualification is always stressful. So now the top nation took the pressure off their shoulder. They can ski a bit more relaxed, and they also experienced the course for the first time in a racing scenario in classic on the sprint course, so they can try to see the tactic. We saw Klæbo coming second and changing track, almost stumbling in the qualification, so it's going to be exciting.
Okay, but let's go 2 years back to Lahti in 2017. There was a dogfight for the podium 2 years ago, and rule #1 in team sprint: stay on your feet. Yeah.
Norway always strong in the team sprint, but it was an extraordinary situation. Iversen teamed up with the youngster Johannes Husford Klæbo, and Klæbo did so much good work. His teammate giving him a very good lead. Finland, Russia, always in contention in these events. The final leg, and Iversen leading down into the stadium. A quick change of tracks, and Finland and Norway taken out of contention with just 200 meters to go. The Russians did not need another invitation, and through went Sergei Ustiakov, teamed up with Kryakov to take the gold medal. That made up for the fact he didn't win the individual. Well, in the women's event, Norway, again, the favourites. Russia wearing 3 and looking very, very strong. And the thing about Lahti is you get a lot of time to think about this final descent down into the stadium. Never such a good mood to lead. Østberg, strong for Norway on the climb out of the stadium. Ups the tempo, opens up a gap over the Russians. Falla, who had dominated sprinting up until this stage, coming through to take the victory for Norway. Yet another one. Their domination continuing. And Falla, the queen of sprinting, 2016, 2017, 2018.
Well, that was 2 years ago now. Let's go to today and the tracks here in Seefeld, because it's, well, once again, it's two different tracks for the women and the men.
Exactly. The men's track is the long one with that famous hill. It's now made famous, but the women is the short track. You see here, pretty flat. Not that much action really as far as like high speed or anything, but that flat terrain can be deceiving. It can really bite after doing all those rounds. All the women have to do 3 rounds each, so it will bite by the end. And here we are with the men's course. It's the exact same course as Thursday's sprint. They come out of the stadium pretty flat, pretty gradual. Then the climb starts, and it's quite the climb. We all know this one. Round the corner. Will they be waiting, or will they try and go for something? Screaming down into the stadium here. And then one last little whoop-de-doo before the run into the finish. It's guaranteed excitement here today.
And the third time up that hill, Alex, how does your leg feel then?
Oh, they're burning. You got to keep your head focused and shoulders straight, because if the shoulders start to collapse, you're going to lose your grip. But for sure, it's full pain in the whole body in the third leg. But that's the same for all your competitors, so you got to remember that.
But you have the Klæbo, Rick, as we say, and where I come from, I don't know.
Running, the running. The Klæbo running. Do you think
it's
you'll
a
see
classic?
That? I mean, I'd be surprised if Klæbo tried to break away on the hill, because there's so much drafting. We saw it in the sprint a few days ago, and you can come from quite a ways behind in the downhill. So, but if he feels good, if he can open a gap, but the gap has to be, I think, 20 meters, because less than that, Bolshunov or the other nation will come back.
And I think it's got to be 40 meters, Alex. I mean, Martin had 15 meters yesterday, and good night and goodbye, bronze.
Yeah, but as you could see in the qualifier, Norway, they managed to have special skis again. You could see Emil pulling in the front in the classic track. They have good skis, but I don't think Klæbo will try to attack on the hill. I think he'll try. I think he tested the strategy in the semifinal, and it worked well for him. I wouldn't be surprised to see the same.
All right, here we see the Swedish team, but let's do the Devon's favorite for today. And you can laugh afterwards, Alex, but here's the favorites on the podium.
For sure, for me, the podium is Sweden. I mean, Dahlqvist is not super happy about falling in that final. She qualified first on Thursday. She teams up with Stina Nilsson. That's a powerhouse team. You have Ingveld, Flugstad Østberg, and Majken Kaspersen Falla for silver. And then the Russians, Nepraeva and Belorukova. I think they're going to sneak in there for the medals, but I think USA has a shot.
USA does have a shot. We saw Jessie maybe not skiing so strong in the semifinal, but she just gets stronger as the day gets longer. So Jessie is a strong outsider, I think.
Yeah, that was a women. Let's look at the guys. Who's going to win there?
Oh, for the men, how can you bet against Norway? I mean, they've won not pretty much, they've won everything. Klæbo, Iversen, I see them winning. Bolshunov really was strong yesterday in the Classic. It was Bolshunov and Niskanen that really made the race. And look who's third. I think Niskanen, one of the best Classic skiers in the world with Hakkala, will take Finland's first medal.
Yeah, I can't disagree with top two, but third place, I'd like to see Italy in there. I think Pellegrino's in great shape, and De Fabiani's having a sensational season, so why not third place for Italy? That's my pick.
But Emil Iversen, you know, he ruined the things 2 years ago. He fell back into Niskanen. He was out. He wanted to retire afterwards. He was so well out of there.
Yeah.
How's he feeling right now?
Oh, it's hard to say, Karsten and Alex. I mean, we saw him yesterday, and he got absolutely demoed in the Classic part. But like Alex said, the skis are running well. I feel like this sprint course really favors an athlete like Emil Iversen, and I think he's going to stay on his feet, and I think he's going to do what he needs to do. Klæbo's just on another level this year in Classic and also in sprinting, so I think it should be okay for Norway. But Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, and Emil is a really good downhiller on this course. He can stay tight, and that's why he's one of the few guys that can stay in the front, even with the big draft. And the difference with Lahti, which is huge, Emil is going first leg, not second leg this time. I think that's a big difference. They learned from their mistake in Lahti, and they put Klæbo, the man of the hour or the man of the last 3 years, on second leg.
All right, but the X factor today is also the skis. It's because it's Classic.
Oh yeah. Skis make such a huge difference today. I think all the technicians are a little little happy that we have a little bit overcast skies, because Alex, in that pursuit yesterday, it seems like it changes so quickly.
Oh yeah, the sun hitting, the classic part especially, it gets really wet and slushy. So, but here it's more in the shade on the sprint course. It's staying compact, but it's really high speed. But skis make a big difference, of course.
All right, thank you so much, Alex. And we're looking so forward to this team sprint.
Oh yeah.
Next up is the women's team sprint.
Well, nice to hear from Alex Harvey and his opinions as to who is going to succeed today. I think everyone agreeing it's a battle between Sweden, Norway and Russia in the women's event. The Americans, don't forget, are the Olympic champions, but without Keegan Randall, they brought in Sadie Bjornsson, who's not had a bad season, Mike.
She's had a very, very good season, and I'm surprised that nobody has mentioned the Swiss team. I think that's a very good pairing. Van de Graaf, Feindrich. I know Feindrich struggles with strategy and tactics, but in raw track pace, they are a very good team. And, you know, with so many mistakes going to happen today, we saw that in the qualifying, I think it does open up for some surprises today. And wasn't that great to have Devon and Alex, the champions, at the bowl, the theatre of the greatest place on earth for cross-country skiing. In the team sprint, they took that one to the Norwegians and they beat them.
But I tell you what I liked about that is that the Norwegians celebrated the Canadian victory almost more than they did the Norwegian victories. And there were plenty of Norwegian victories, with Northug sensational in so many of the events.
Yeah.
But they were delighted to see Canada get that victory.
Yeah, you're so right. And they're a little embarrassed, I think, with how many medals they win, the Norwegians. But yes, they're very cheering when other countries can do the same.
And they're doing all right here at the moment. 4 out of 4 for Norway. I guess the FIS will be a little concerned. You don't want total domination by a nation. We were discussing it yesterday. We think the only way to stop it is to limit the amount you can spend on your support team, because you only have to look at the waxing setup for the Norwegians to realise that they are streaks ahead of everyone else. Russia, well, we'll see how they get on. It's a good-looking team for Russia with, of course, Nepraeva and Belarukova. Team 13 Slovenia, Katja Visnar and Anna Maria Lampitz from the Triglav Kranj Ski Club. 14, that's Belarus. Anastasia Kirilova gets them underway. Polina Soronasova takes their second leg. There's the Americans, with Sadie Bjornsson taking the first leg, leaving the glory run to Jess Diggins, should she be in a position to add world gold to Olympic gold. And a familiar figure at the back, that of Justina Kowalczyk. Great to see her racing here. So the action about to start. They've had the selection, the semi-finals as they call it. We have our top 10 teams through to the women's team sprint final. The defending champions from Lahti last year, Norway, when Weng and Fowler teamed up, Russia and USA in silver and bronze. Away we go. Mike, the course the same as the individual sprint, but each athlete goes round 3 times. This is your classic interval session.
It is. You get an equal amount of time, basically, practically within a few margins of your energy out on the track, and then your same recovery times, because your teammate is roughly doing the same time. Yes, you can recover in 3 minutes, Patrick, but latent pain, if you like, or lactic acid build-up over the period. And remember, it was only 2 hours 15 minutes ago where they had their run out, their semi-final, to qualify into this final. So it's been a big day already for these cross-country skiers.
So just to help you identify the teams, wearing bib 2 and in the lead at the moment are Sweden. That's Stina Nilsson, who's taking the first leg. I wonder whether she's gone on the first leg, Mike, to avoid any lunge across the line with that injured hamstring of hers. Norway are wearing bib number 1. Not only are they the world champions from Lahti, but they also won the title in 2015 when Østberg and Faller teamed up. Remember, it was Weng and Faller in Lahti, not Østberg and Faller. Down the fastest section of the course, a moderate, a conservative, 42, 44, are we getting to the 45? Not quite. So 44 kilometres an hour. Just wait until you see the men's first round. That is likely to be closer to 58, 59.
I was on the bottom of the hill, midway up the hill, I should say, the steep hill in the men's race earlier, and it is absolutely brutal. Athlete, I was delighted to see back in the pack, Patrick Kowalczyk. She's a slow starter. Started slowly out of the gates. In fact, she's still at the back there, but looked good in qualifying.
A much longer run out. Obviously, they're not allowed to skate, but they're doing nothing for around 30 seconds, Mike. So a really good recovery before the second climb.
It is indeed, and it's the icier conditions, the colder conditions today, which are allowing everyone to remain longer in the tuck, the glide position.
Now, do you think this is a sprint event, or do you think it's an endurance event?
It's a thumpingly painful event. I think it's a sprint endurance. I'm going halfway on that. We will see raw out-and-out sprinting on second leg and then third leg. This is the first time around.
So why do all athletes, all coaches, put these intervals into their programs? What are they trying to develop in the interval session that then you need to be able to race one?
Yes, throughout the summer, and so many times in training camps, they're simulating these 3 minutes of pain, generally uphill training on roller skis, cycling and running. And the body becomes accustomed to this.
So the first exchange completed. Maja Dahlqvist disappointed in her individual effort, having qualified in first place. Leading for Sweden at the moment. Just behind her is Maiken Caspersen-Faller, the double world champion in the sprint, having won in Lahti and having won here in Seefeld just a couple of days ago. Germany are up there as well. Victoria Karl handing over to Sandra Ringwald. Dark horses, Germany, Mike?
I think so. I think alongside the Swiss team, I think this is a much improved German team, improved in terms of confidence. We saw Victoria Karl putting in some fabulous performances in the freestyle sprint just, when was that? It's all a blur, back on Thursday.
No fallers so far. We saw a lot of falls in the qualifying runs, particularly in the men's competition, coming down the fast section. Hopefully there'll be a little bit of drama in the final.
Certainly a number of yellow cards, which were warnings for the technique violation. You're not allowed to skate around the corner. It's a grey area, I know, but the jury are onto it.
Now, have a look at how the gaps close on this long, flat section. Yeah. Sweden leading. Now, I know exactly what you're about to say. Skating, skating, skating.
Wow.
It's very icy out there, Mike. It's almost impossible to stop the ski sliding out to the side.
What I would say is that Dahlqvist was pawing the snow a number of times, and the jury are videoing that, and I know she may well get a warning for that.
I think you need to be careful, because you're going to get yourself a job in Austria if you're...
Quite official.
They want someone as officious as you.
Rules are rules.
Incidentally, they have volunteers on every corner on the classic course with video cameras, taking pictures, filming every athlete, and then WhatsApping the information back to the control center. So no one is getting away with anything. For me, I just don't like the objectivity that's coming into the sport. I just think we need a rule that simplifies everything. Sure, I don't like cheating, but I just want it to be simple.
I think it's simple. I think, you know, every athlete knows what a skate is. Every athlete knows what a step turn is. And it's great. Our very own Marty Watkins is out there videoing this, as you say, WhatsApping the footage to the jury and just making sure, policing the potential violations. And Marty Watkins raced here way back in 1985 with me at the World Champs.
Sweden and Norway up in the top two positions, just tucked in behind them are Slovenia. Germany down in 4, America 5. Welcome back to the women's team sprint here at the Nordic World Championships. No surprise to see the red suit of Norway starting to apply the pressure. Stina Nilsson of Sweden working very hard in second at the moment. And suddenly a change in pace as we come towards the halfway. The next exchange will be the halfway point of this race. And of course, there are 6 rounds of the sprint course, each athlete taking 3. Norway, Sweden, Slovenia. Is that Finland in 4? I think it is. Germany being pushed back a bit, and that must be Russia at the back of this leading group at the moment.
Little surprise, Russia struggling at this stage. There is a definite gap. 6 nations at the front, very difficult to come back when you're detached at the back.
An ID error. It was America in fourth. It wasn't the Germans. They're now down in 5. Neprayeva of Russia in 6, and the pace slows again.
I'm surprised the pace is slowing down. There was initiative there and a lot of hard work put in on the 3rd lap, but 4th lap has started slowly, allowing Russia straight back in.
Well, you have to remember, these are the athletes that will be taking the final leg. They don't want to use up too much of their sprinting prowess. A lot of the teams, Mike, have gone for one endurance, one workhorse who they put on the first leg, and then they've gone for a specialist sprinter on the 2nd leg.
You need that. You need somebody that can turn up the pace at the moment of asking for the final. I mean, coaches and athletes, they had their meetings last night. I'm surprised that athletes weren't informed. If we're breaking away, keep the pace on. Russia now taking the initiative.
Finland coming back into it. They've joined the leading group. Palmakoski on their 2nd leg, so she's the one who's going to have to produce the sprint at the end of the day. Norway still leading, Mike. The big difference with the women and the men's course is the fact they don't go so high up the hill, therefore they don't get the same speed on the way down, and the slipstream effect is not as big, but there is still a slipstream. See how Norway get overtaken by Sweden and Slovenia on the outside. So do we apply the same rule? Don't lead down the hill for the final time.
Incredible. I think Belarukova, her skis, she's double poling like crazy there. I think her skis were very slow there. Yes, she was at the front, but she had separation. And now she's having to work furiously to get back in with it. Little concerned with Norway, Fala, but maybe I don't need to be. There's still 2 laps to go.
Looks as though Fala's trying to get a free ride on the majority of this penultimate lap for her, and her teammate waiting, Ingvild Flugstad Østberg, who's had a tremendous career. 1 gold, 1 silver from the World Championship so far for Østberg. It was nice to see her on the podium of the skiathlon event. Won, of course, by Therese Johaug, a class apart in terms of female endurance racing. Here we come into the penultimate exchange, and Fala handing over to Østberg. No real lead. Sweden, good exchange from them. Stina Nilsson back in action. Dahlqvist gets a couple of minutes rest before her final effort, and Team 11 hanging on in there. Great performance by them, the Russians. Welcome back to Seefeld. We're coming towards the crunch stage of the women's sprint. There will be no more breaks before the end of this one. There goes Stina Nilsson trying to steal a march on the Norwegians alongside her, but looking very, very good for Norway is Østberg, who's so strong at the moment. On the right-hand side of your screen, Team 11, that's Russia, with Natalia Neprayeva 2nd in the World Cup standings and having a good season. She'll lead down towards the exchange for the final time and the final burst to decide the medals here in the women's team sprint event. Slovenia still have a chance. They're only 5 or 6 meters off the bronze medal position. The Americans are fading, Mike. They've got work to do on the last leg. You feel the medals are going to someone in those first 4 teams.
It looks very much like that. And with Fala, I watched Fala's previous lap. She had an incredible explosive burst of pace on the final climb, and I think she'll unleash that again this time to take the victory.
Maja Dahlqvist for Sweden in white. The Russians have Yulia Belarukova, who won the first sprint of the season in Ruka. How can she do? In the middle of your screen, just behind her, is Maiken Kaspersen Fala, the world sprint champion from 17 and 19.
Here comes
sitting back in 4th place. Here come the Americans. And of course, it's Jess Diggins who's, if there's a fighter out there, it is Jess Diggins. And of course, she took the gold in Pyeongchang. She desperately wants to add the world title to that.
What I can't understand, on the final handover, there were three clean away, and the pace was then so slow, they've allowed America and Jess Diggins almost back in it.
I think they were saving themselves for the short little climb, Mike. See how Diggins has faded. She worked so hard out of the gate that she's didn't have the energy for that last 40 metres of climbing, and suddenly there's a little gap between 4 and 5.
Ringwald is in the mix. She's in third place right now for Germany, and we know she's a good finisher. It's the big names at the front with Norway and Sweden. Russia a little detached at the moment. Belarukova work to do, and I think slow skis.
Faller keeps working the poles till late on. Germany taking the place of Slovenia. Similar suits, but it's Germany now who move up into the medal positions and seem to have good skis. Dahlqvist of Sweden in the middle, and she's got strength left and right. How can she cope with Faller's burst? There goes Faller. A little misplacement of the pole, but she keeps the momentum. And Germany looking so strong at the moment, but there's still some way to go on this climb.
Ringwald, that's great pace, but can anybody match Faller? There's the tempo. She's in her absolute turbo gear now, but Sweden hanging on with her. Dahlqvist looking great.
Round the corner at the top of the hill to the right this time rather than the left, and then one more downhill. It's a sweeping left-hand turn into the home straight. This is not won by any means. The Norwegians are creating the slipstream for Sweden and Germany. It looks very good for Dahlqvist, and she'll be confident of her speed in the home straight. They choose a line, Sweden and Norway, side by side. The Swedes on the far side with a stronger double poling, but Germany coming strong in the closing stages. For once, Norway are not taking the gold. It's going to Sweden. Nielsen and Dahlqvist are going to be world champions, and a silver medal for Germany. Norway have to settle for the bronze for the first time in these championships. They did nothing wrong apart from being the lead coming down that final hill.
Well, if anybody knows about that leading into the final hill, it's Norway, and unfortunately Faller didn't have the turn of pace, the strength to match the impressive Sweden, and that's a real... What about Germany? Did anybody expect that? Of course, they're an up-and-coming team. We did mention Victoria Karl, how strong she is getting in these races.
Well, what a race. What an astonishing race, and so good that Stina Nielsen, who has been the out-and-out star in women's sprinting so far this year, suffered a really bad injury. Now, we've made a big mistake, Mike, because we put Germany in second. It's not Germany, it's the suit that's fooled us more than once today. Slovenia coming through to take that silver medal, and apologies for that. Apologies to all Slovenians for the misidentification there. Viznar Lampitz have got themselves a fabulous silver medal with their burst into the finish. But Sweden still are the champions. Nielsen, Dahlqvist look very strong, and Nielsen will be absolutely delighted.
She will be, and that was a great finish from Dahlqvist. Yes, apologies to Slovenia. Of course they were there, and like a rocket came through, and they had a mission today, and of course with Hadestad training them, they are on fire.
Well, Germany were in a good position coming into the base of the final climb, but Slovenia slipping past them before the summit and putting themselves in a strong position. Third place down that last hill gives you a chance of gold and silver, certainly. Norway settling for bronze, so they've got 4 gold, 1 bronze from the 5 events here in Seefeld. But for the first time at these championships, Sweden are the champions.
Welcome back to Seefeld. Look at this, Sweden's first medal in these championships, Maja Dahlqvist. She's the strongest one in the finish. But look at Slovenia, Devon, ahead of Norway, who's third. That's a surprise.
Oh, that is an absolute surprise. It's Sunday's stunner. Lampitz secures a silver medal for Slovenia. We haven't seen stuff like this since Petra Majdic, Vesna Fabjan with the bronze medal in Sochi, if you remember that. That's been 5 years. We've had to wait 5 years since the small country, Slovenia. Just over 2 million people live there, and they secure a silver medal. Wow.
But the key moments in this race, because we can start with, not start with the end there, but I don't know how smart it was to take the lead down the hill there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Here we go. If you look at the images up here, you have, this is the end of Stina's leg and Osberg's leg. You see Nepreva skiing so strong, but look, coming into the picture here, you're going to see that Katja Wisnar is not far away. They come into the exchange, and Katja Wisnar is right in contact, and that is all they need. That's all Lampich needs. Stay in contact. They come to the exchange. There's 4 teams. This is a 4-horse race, and only 3 come away with the medals. And coming down the last corner, this is for it all. This is for the big one. And Dahlqvist uses the slipstream like we've seen a few times, and she's getting revenge from that fall she had in the final of the sprint on Thursday. Secures the victory, and Lampich outgunning Falla for the silver medal. Oh, they're partying in Slovenia tonight. That was a thing of beauty.
All right, here we see it. Sweden number 1, Slovenia number 2, and Norway number 3. Russia, they were in it all the time, but I think they're pretty disappointed right now. And Jessie Diggins, she really tried with the USA, but she could never close the gap.
No, exactly. Jessie Diggins did such a great job closing the gap back up to the group of leaders, and as soon as she came back into contact, they attacked, and Jessie just didn't have enough. So that's how that played out. But at the end of the day, you got to tip your hat to all the great athletes, and especially Sweden. Great revenge for them. Not Silver Stina today. She gets a gold medal around her neck. That's what she's used to. And then, of course, Slovenia and Norway. Beautiful.
And with all those build up to this championship with Stina Nilsson out for a month, and I ask you, why do they put Dahlqvist on the last leg and not Nilsson? But if it comes down to a finish and she has to stretch her leg, that could be the end of this championship.
Exactly. Like, Dahlqvist has shown she's in phenomenal shape with her qualification, and then easily making the final on Thursday. Without that crash, who knows what she ends up. And like you said, Stina Nilsson, having that hamstring injury, hasn't raced for a month. If it comes down to a lunge, and she's got a lunge for like a bronze, a silver, even a 5th place, and destroys the whole rest of the championships, a lot of people in Sweden are going to go to bed crying. So they did the smart move. Dahlqvist in great shape, anchoring them, and Stina Nilsson, the best sprinter in the world. Well, Maiken is also an amazing sprinter, but Stina, one of the best sprinters in the world, leading off for them. Great strategy.
Yeah, and if you see the season overall, that the Swedish sprinters have been, well, this is a well-deserved gold medal.
Oh, absolutely. The Swedish sprinters for the ladies' side have such depth. Classic, skate, it does not matter. They have been the strongest sprint team on the women's side. So to see them win the team sprint, absolutely not surprising. The biggest surprise of the day, I'm still shaking. Slovenia. Ole Vigen Hadestad must be so absolutely thrilled. His first year coaching the Slovenian team, his wife,
Katja,
Katja gets a silver medal, and then Lampich, a real talent, brings it on home for the silver. This will be replayed many, many times in Slovenia later today.
But as you said, they have had some traditions in Slovenia with sprinters. You had Majdic. I remember she won a bronze in Vancouver with a broken rib. Remember that? She fell down in the ditch the day before the race. And she performed magnificent with a broken rib.
Yeah, Petra Majdic is the big grand queen of Slovenian cross-country skiing. She has so many victories, and of course everybody remembers that dramatic day in Vancouver, falling over that ditch when it was so icy, having a rib injury, somehow securing a bronze medal. She has the championship medals. She has such deep experience. And then Vesna Fabjan winning the bronze medal in Sochi. What an amazing performance there. And then it's like things went to sleep till today, and they woke up, roared, and won a silver.
Yeah, I just can see to my right, there's Maja Dahlqvist and Stina Nilsson now with the Swedish host broadcaster. And of course, I think they are so fed up in Sweden by always losing to the Norwegians. There's a fight there. That's Canada, USA.
Oh, yeah. More so even. More so. Cross-country skiing is such an important sport in Sweden. And in Norway, it is the first, second, third most popular sport. So to get a little bit of sweet revenge here in the first team sprints of the day, that's got to feel good for Sweden. Take some of the pressure off the team as well. They have been so strong on the sprint side for the women. So it's great that they got the gold medal today.
It is. Congratulations to Sweden. We'll be right back from Seefeld with some interviews and, of course, the flower ceremony and the Swedish national anthem, Du gamla, du fria, that's called. All right. See you later. Welcome back to Seefeld, where we just seen Sweden win the team sprint ahead of Slovenia, Norway on the 3rd place. Let's listen to the new world champions from Sweden, Maja Dahlqvist and Stina Nilsson.
Maja Dahlqvist, you are world champion. How does that feel?
It feels really good.
Yeah,
really good.
And it's well deserved as well. How was it out there in the sprint? Because you had to fight until the last meter?
Yeah, it was really tight today, but I felt strong in the end, so it was good. Yeah, I felt really powerful today, and I like the course. It's very fast, and you have to be focused all the time and not let anyone pass you in the wrong places. And when Maja crossed the finish line first, it was like euphoria.
Are you happy with your teamwork? Because at the exchange, it's super important as well. Are you happy with your two teams' work?
Yeah, we had a tactic before the race where we should, how we should attack the course in the change, and it worked out well. Yeah, really good.
Okay. They both agreed, the two world champions. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Two extremely happy Swedes there, Maja Dahlqvist and Stina Nilsson. Now, Devon, let's do the men's race. Next here up on Eurosport is the team sprint for men.
Thanks, Carsten. Thanks, Devon. Waiting for the excitement, and what a race from Sweden. They won it back in 2011 with Kalle and Ingmar's daughter. Kalle sticking to the distance races this time. Ingmar's daughter yet to have a run out here in Seefeld. A little surprising after the fabulous season she's had so far, but she will be celebrating like everyone else. Now, let's focus on the men's. First bit of bad news is that the British duo of Young and Clune did not get through, but bad luck rather than bad performance.
It was unfortunate. I was side of the track, and Youngie had it right there in the action with the lead pack of 5, and didn't see it happen. I was running up the commentary booth, and James must have fallen. He certainly broke a pole. He took a long time getting a spare pole handed to him, and all of a sudden they were 19 seconds behind. Sadly, they didn't make it, but they looked so good for so long.
Team 5, Austria making their way out. Norway, again the favourites. Emil Iversen teamed up with Johannes Klæbo. They finished 30 and 31 in the skiathlon yesterday, both deciding that as it was not a tactical race, they would take it easy for the final stages to save something for today. Sweden, Oskar Svensson and Kalle Halvarsson. Victor Thorn on the original start sheet, but Svensson has come in instead. Russia with Rättvik, who has already got himself a medal from the individual sprint, and big, bold, brave Bolshinov.
All the bees.
Yeah, he's a beast, the beast.
They had a little bit of luck in the trial round earlier, the semi-final earlier. Rättvik took a fall, snapped a pole, but detached by some way, they soon got back into the action.
Now, let's hope that the host nation can put up a good show. Max Hauk up with Dominic Baldorf, and they're going to be pressed. It all depends on the tactics. De Fabiani and Pellegrino is a pretty impressive-looking lineup for the Italians, and they can certainly make an impression on the leaders. They, of course, won back in 2007. Passini and Zorzi teamed up. I don't think Zorzi was in his late 40s then, but what is he now? He's 46 now. So he was in the middle of his career. Now, Slovenia with 1 silver medal already. Can they make it 2 today?
That would be wonderful, and hopefully they will be inspired to do something special once again.
Yeah, they're wearing bib 24. We'll keep an eye out for them. And as the Germans haven't made the final of the men's sprint, we won't be getting them confused. Team 8, Canada, Karma Charette and Valjas. So, Norway, Finland, Russia, France, Sweden, Italy, the United States wearing bib 4, Slovenia 24, Canada and Austria wearing 8. But it's Norway who head the chevron at the moment, with their big rivals Russia on their left side. Let Bredvik on the first leg. Emil Iversen goes for Norway. Now, if you cast your mind back 2 years, Iversen and Klæbo made the Norwegian team in the team sprint in Lahti. Iversen took the second leg, and all the good work that Klæbo did on the first leg was wiped out and more. each time round.
Incredible, wasn't it? And we saw 5.6 seconds Iversen had in terms of lead going into the final leg. He was hauled back in, all over the place, took a fall, took out Finland, who finished in third, but Norway finishing down in fourth that day. And that's the thing I love about this team sprint. So many surprises. It's sprint endurance, allowing other teams that you would think on paper should not be able to make it. And I must say, Slovenia is so impressive in the women's final. It was something of a surprise, not for them. They know their energy, they know how good their team is growing, and maybe that will transfer to the men's team here, bib 24.
Well, this is a very steady pace for the first lap. A lot of people saying, are we going to see the Klæbo clop? Now, if you haven't seen it, it's a sort of slightly non-traditional way of climbing the steeper hills in the classic style, which plays such a huge part in the Lahti Stadium.
It did, it absolutely did, and there's slightly steeper final part to that hill, and what it does, it's a running action. It compresses the ski with more energy. You're dropping all his body weight through the ski like the running action, and it's more force is more reach up the hill. He didn't invent it, it's been around for a while. Of course, the great Petter Northug used to adopt that forceful style.
I think you could say he's developed it and perfected it.
I think he absolutely has. Maybe this hill isn't steep enough for it.
I think the second hill is where we might see it.
Look at sorry, Barry, look at the time. 1:48 to the top of this rise. Yes, it's slower than freestyle. It was 1:30 at the top of this rise in freestyle. They're taking it very easy today.
Yeah, in the sprint event, it was sub 120 in the quicker rounds. In the final, it was somewhere around 140 again.
One down.
Slowly, first faller of the day, and this is the Slovenians who've gone down. So their medal chances taking a big dent. They've got to hope that the pace doesn't pick up as Finland take the lead for the first time. Finland they brought in their endurance experts for the sprint. Ivo Niskanen takes the first leg, and then Ristomati Hakala on the second.
He does. Heard that this Norwegian skis, as expected, as normal, are going wonderfully well, and that's good news for the Norwegian men's team.
Slipstream all the way. There are icy tracks out there. It didn't get too cold last night, down around -3, but it was blazing hot yesterday evening, so there was a lot of moisture on the tracks. Iversen's opening up. This is the first real bit of power put down by Norway, and already a gap of, what, 2-3 meters to second, another 3 meters to third, and that's a significant move, and it's bad news for Slovenia, who've already taken a fall, and suddenly they see the leaders disappear over the horizon.
Well, that almost caught the rest of the pack by surprise. Is this the Norwegian strategy to get out front from the start, from the first leg? Klæbo is preparing to unleash, and it will be first handover for Norway.
Well, that means it's a safe handover, but Iversen needs to stay strong all the way through, and Klæbo is not going to capitalise on that lead.
Everybody's going to get back together again if it remains at this pace, and I think it might. They'll let Klæbo dictate.
There must have been a race plan, Mike, but that burst by Iversen now seems wasted.
It now seems wasted. I suppose the one thing it ensured was that there were no tangles, no possibilities for error in the handover.
And it allows Klæbo to take control.
Yes, he can run it. He doesn't want to lead. He's not really a leader at this stage, only to the line. And I think we'll see him preferring to tuck in behind another athlete.
There's only one man in that field who's not going to show Klæbo the respect that he thinks he deserves, and that is Pellegrino of Italy. And he's moved up on the left-hand side. He'll be on the inside of the turn for the next corner. And the more they play cat and mouse, the more the chances of the Italians of getting a medal improve.
And, you know, and the Italian team stepping out of yesterday's 30-kilometre entirely for this moment. So their legs are a little fresher than the Norwegian two, who did race 30 yesterday. The pace again, Patrick, is it's not hard, it's not sprinting. Everybody just taking it within themselves.
Yeah, Slovenia are almost back in touch, and the Austrians moving up alongside the leaders. Just looking for Canada, they're wearing bib number 8. Is that the Canadians going into the front with Len Valius? He's a tall man.
Devon will be getting so excited now. Yeah, it's early stages, but good to see Canada at the front.
Eric Bjornsson of America now in second position. The Americans not on the podium in the women's team sprint. We thought we might see them come through. through, just had too much to do on the last leg. Bjornsson goes wide, very, very wide, and he must have travelled, what, 20 metres further than the Canadians on the inside, and you can see that the inside line is actually the quicker.
Bjornsson, of course, his sister taking the first leg earlier in the Americans' team with Diggin second.
There goes Klæbo, uses the slipstream well. I tell you who would enjoy racing in these conditions, Mike. One Petter Northug, the most successful World Championship skier of all time. He's down here working for a rival TV company, actually, and it would be nice to hear his input and how he reads the results so far.
Halvarsson looking good, taking none of the lead on. Here comes Bolshinov. I wondered when he'd want to get restless in the pack and want to break to the front. Well, he's moving into second place, Bolshinov. What a fight he had yesterday, and taking nearly all of the pace in the second half of the skiathlon, nearly 15 kilometers at the front. Didn't work out the way he wanted it. He took the silver medal.
This is the 8th World Championship team event, and Norway have won it on 3 occasions. They've been on the podium 4 times. Russia have won it twice. Italy have won it once. That was back in 2007. And Canada, as we heard at the top of the programme, they won it once in 2011 in the biggest ski stadium in the world in Oslo. What a moment that was for Devon Kershaw and, of course, Alex Harvey.
Patrick, I'm so happy to say that Slovenia, Simonets and Lampit's back in the action, losing so much time, falling at 35 kilometers an hour, and maybe lucky for them, the pace hasn't been electric yet.
Well, what do you think the Norwegian team instructions are? What are the Russian instructions? Everyone has their game plan. Some of them maybe just be told, watch Norway, see what they do, follow them, make sure you're with them at the top of the final hill, and then you've got as good a chance as they've got.
Possibly, but Iversen certainly adopting a different strategy up this climb this time. This is now up to maximum.
He's gone much, much earlier this time. Is this going to be a move that splits the field for the second time? But if Klæbo goes slowly on his penultimate lap, there may be trouble. Round the bend, Iversen ahead of Retvik of Russia. In 3rd place of France. The French certainly, from their performances this year, deserve a medal of some colour at these championships. Italy in 4, Finland in 5, and that burst from Iversen, Mike, has done a lot of damage.
What a difference, just upping it a little. Italy there, I thought Italy may well, De Fabiani there, I thought he might have matched Iversen's pace, wasn't able to.
The Americans back in 6th at the moment. They're your leading 5 teams. It's Norway ahead. Their skis have been good, and the French go very, very low with Richard Uve just trying to get an extra 0.1 of a kilometre to close the gap on Norway, which they've done so pretty successfully. Iversen with a small margin, and it's all go from here. Remember, he still has 1 lap to go. Uve of France shows his power in the double pole. Is he going all the way? Not quite.
Oskar Svensson, far side, white suit for Sweden, looking good, looking much better today.
De Fabiani of Italy up into 3rd, ahead of the Russians. And Russia don't seem to be panicking at the moment, Mike. I think maybe that's a good move from Retvik, because I think he feels that the pace will slow again for the next lap.
All day, and in the star pen, he's looked incredibly relaxed. You often see the Russian team so serious, so tense. He looked very relaxed and I think very confident right now.
At the moment, we are down to 5. Norway ahead of France, Sweden in 3, Italy 4, Russia in 5, but only a fraction separating those leading 5 teams. Niskanen of Finland, some 4.2 back. Work to do for America and Austria and Slovenia, who took that fall on the first leg. The 3rd exchange complete, and Johannes Klæbo not prepared to push the pace. He wants to save everything for later, but he might decide to go at some stage on this long climb. Just wants to be in control. as much as to win.
Is he wanting to hold them back? Maybe that's his idea, because when he unleashes, when he opens up all his turbos, he can drop the pack at the drop of a hat. Bolshinov was not happy, locked on the inside. He wants to be ready for a reaction, a turn of pace. He's going to dictate the turn of pace.
Yeah, I think Bolshinov knows he can't match Klebo over a 100-meter climb, and therefore he's got to try and take some of the sting out of the Norwegian before the final lap. So many tactics involved. Their minds will be absolutely packed with thoughts at the moment, but at the same time they've got to be very wary of where the opposition are, because there were so many falls in the qualification run, Mike, but they must be concerned about that.
They must be. Bolshinov, is he buying himself space around the top of this curve to get the best race line down this very fast descent?
3-4 meter lead for Russia over Norway. Italy still hanging on in 3. The French desperately wanting a medal in 4 at the moment. Sweden in 5, and then Finland just behind them.
Well, Kleibo had at least, what, 12, 15 meters. So right now, slipstreaming isn't there at the moment.
Well, Bolshinov has done good work there, Mike. But he may find, this will be interesting. Do you think Norway will close the gap on the next 150 meters?
I think they will. I think Bolshinov will probably stand up just a little too early. But those great skis under Kleibo's feet, I think he'll draw him back in.
Well, that just shows you that on the final lap, a 20-meter lead at the top of that big climb is not enough, because they'll catch you and they'll take you.
Look how long Kleibo has managed to recover. He was in the tuck all the way down there. Beautiful skis. He doesn't need to worry. He knows the next time round it's to the line, to the final for the gold medal. The next time round for him, that is. Iversson's got to go in between.
Well, as is so often the case, with 2 laps to go, it looks as though it's going to end up in a massive sprint finish. That's what we want. I'm sure it's what the crowd want, but there may be some stories to unfold on the penultimate lap, which is coming up next. Iversson has done all the donkey work so far with the first leg runners. Has he got anything left to do it again? Norway, Russia, France, 1, 2, 3. Italy only a fraction of a second behind France in 4. Sweden with a chance. Finland, USA are there as well. A fall from Bolshinov, but no damage done to Redvik. Off come the skis. And the technicians will give the skis a quick brush. Maybe a layer of Syrah. Well, there's the fall from Bolshinov, and very, very lucky that Redvik didn't break a pole in this instance. That was clumsy, Mike. The Russians have done that once or twice so far at these championships.
And we were just talking about how relaxed they were. Redvik, he didn't panic there. He just seems to be composed. I think the pace is going to turn up towards the top of this hill. Iversson.
Well, I'm not sure. Iversson's been happy to lead down the hill up to now, Mike. I wouldn't be surprised if he was prepared to let someone else go through. It might be the best move. Save your energy on this climb.
They certainly are. Austria, good to see Austria still in the action at the back of this lead group. Bib number 8. Sorry, bib number 5, of course.
Now, if we have this many in a group next time round, Mike, we're going to see them come to a standstill yet again.
I think we will. If there are that many together, you just expect this is going to pick up, but difficult to get rid of teams at this stage on this next part of the track.
Iversson a very good downhiller, Mike, but that does not mean that you don't generate a slipstream behind you. He's got Sweden alongside him. France and Italy at the moment fighting it out for the bronze medal position. Russia losing a little bit of ground before the descent down into the stadium. And Sweden gliding well. That brings a cheer out of a big section of the crowd as Oskar Svensson looks to put Kalle Halvarsson into a good position for the final lap. Away he goes. He's got another, 300 meters to ski. He's going all out all the way. Iversson has to live with it, having done so much work on the first 2 laps. And duvet of France is in a fantastic position, and Lucas Chanava, who's one of the strongest sprinters this year, will be getting nervous as he prepares for his final lap. Italy with Pellegrino on the last leg always have a chance of medals, and don't rule out Finland. They're in 4, Russia in 5.
What a turn of pace from Oscar Svensson. When he woke up this morning, he didn't know he was doing this race. I thought that was fantastic. His work is nearly completed, and Halvarsson, I think, might try and take this so fast from the handover.
There is Halvarsson in the middle of your picture in the white of Sweden. Pellegrino wearing 16. On the right, the world champion, the Olympic champion, the best sprinter in the world, Johannes Husford Klæbo. And Klæbo again out front. It's going to be his choice as to when to go, but Bolshinov knows it needs to be hard from the off, and away goes Bolshinov. He wants gold, having been denied yesterday after doing all the work on the skiathlon. Mike, he was quite quick to complain that the Norwegians just tail-hung him all the way around that skiathlon course. Do you sympathise with him, or do you think you've got to apply your brains in these endurance races?
I sympathise a little. They were nearly a minute ahead of any threats from behind, and he just keeps on pushing and pushing and pushing Bolshinov. There wasn't any help he was given. Normally, you would expect some assistance, but no, you need to apply the best strategy to win the races.
Klæbo is opting for a final hill dash. In a minute's time, he will explode. And I'm not sure there's anyone in there who can live with him. Pellegrino, perhaps in a freestyle race. We'll see if his classic is up to the same sort of standard in 50 seconds now. Bolshinov is the man who's going to be first round the corner, and having led yesterday, he's not going to be willing to lead down the hill this time round. They all know that the first man down the hill is likely not only not to win, but to be off the podium.
And look at this, they're all slowing down with that knowledge that the first man over. Is someone going to sneak through? Can someone break free?
Well, it's great news for France, and it might be good news for Austria as well. Here we go. It's a repeat of the individual sprint. Someone's got to do it. Bolshinov, that's a dummy run. He's not going to go. Yes, he is.
No.
He's got 5 meters, and that surely is the end of Russia's chances of taking gold. Unless those chasers all fall behind him. Klæbo goes wide. Pellegrino's looking for the Norwegian slipstream. Halvarsson of Sweden in 4th at the moment. That's not too bad, because he could use Pellegrino's slipstream to get him up level with Norway. Here goes Bolshinov's lead. We've got a faller. Team 17 are down. That's Finland who are out. And Ristimäki Hakala has his chance taken away. I don't know if there was any interference. Klæbo up behind Bolshinov, then he slips to the right, and now he goes all out. Watch this final climb. The world's best sprinter is about to unleash the classic style that only 2 or 3 men have ever mastered.
Look at that tempo. Incredible tempo. Bolshinov at the moment being left behind. Oh, that's it. Game over.
Look at that margin. Quite unbelievable. Gold medal, number 5, coming to Norway. Unless he takes a tumble on that last downhill, he cannot afford to be complacent. He got caught in the Ruka Stadium at the start of the season, but that margin is fantastic. Quite incredible how he does it. It was obvious from the start this is how he was going to play it, Mike, but very brave when Iversen was doing so much work on the 1st, the 3rd and the 5th lap. It's Norway's success. They make up for the fact they didn't win the women's. 5 gold, 1 bronze from 6 events. Their domination goes on. Russia get another silver. Bolshinov, silver, 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 silver. He got all the silvers in Pyeongchang. He's now got 2 silvers here in Seefeld. He deserves a win. Where's it going to come? The 15K Classic, maybe?
15 Classic, and then the 50K if he plays his cards right. Poor old Sweden. Swedish men's cross-country skiing, it's not what it used to be. I thought Halvarsson had a chance, but I felt he could have gone earlier and really set a strong pace. But if it came to a sprint, matching up with Pellegrino, no chance.
Yeah, Pellegrino, I think the Italians will be happy with the silver. That makes up for Lardy, Mike. You may remember Klæbo punching the advertising boards because he put in one of the greatest performances we've ever seen in a team sprint event, only to lose out with Iversen falling on the last lap. Iversen, to be honest, a spent force in that race. He just hit the wall halfway through. So you felt very, very sorry for him. But they've made amends here today in Seefeld. They've become the world champions, and quite brave of the selectors to put the same pairing together.
Incredible, absolutely, especially after the 30k yesterday. I know they backed off very early in the race and just took it as a distance race, but all the same. Here's Slovenia coming in now, and that early fall did not help their cause.
But Slovenia will be celebrating tonight because they took the silver medal behind Sweden in the women's team sprint just half an hour ago. And in come team number 8, that's Canada, with Lena Valius on the final leg, some way behind. Norway ahead of Russia, with Italy in the bronze medal position.
All right. And we see the world champions Norway, Emilie Iversen and Johannes Høsflot together with Russia on second, Italy on third. And that was a demonstration of power for the Norwegian 22-year-old on the last lap there, on the last 200 meters.
Oh, yeah. When he goes around that little candlestick, that last little uphill, and then coming down into the stadium, there is absolutely nobody on earth that can follow a pace like that. My heart wants to go out to Bolshinov for playing it so tactically poorly, but at the end of the day, I can't. He's seen this so many times, and that's why he was beat into second today.
Yeah, and he was standing behind us for like 3 or 4 minutes. He was so angry with himself, so angry. Why did he take the lead down the hill? They don't listen to you, Devin.
No, they don't. They must not have Eurosport, the international Eurosport in Russia or something. No, jokes aside, I do feel for him. He takes the lead here. You know, I think Bolshinov here thinks he's just going to do 1.6 kilometer drag, but then he didn't have enough, and they get to the top, gets to the top of the corner, and he puts in a little dummy move. You're like, oh, he's just trying to fool them. He's just trying to fool them. But no, then he leads down the hill. We all know what happens. Klæbo slides into the slipstream, pulls out. Bolshinov tries to save it by getting into Klæbo's slipstream, but it's all too little too late. Here's why Klæbo is the best skier in the world. His change of pace, there's nobody on planet Earth that can move as quickly as Johannes Klæbo. And here you go, another gold medal performance for Norway. God, do you think they're getting bored of this?
I don't think they are, or else they wouldn't be winning. But I mean, he could have taken a flag here. He could take the Norwegian flag and wave it. He has, because when you see this margin, they were close 300 meters behind.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, Klæbo is just so far and away the best sprinter. I go back and forth. Some days I'm like, oh, in skate, it's just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It's just so crazy. He's better in skate. Then I see a classic performance like this, and I'm like, who am I kidding? In classic is where he is the absolute king of the world.
Yeah,
There's
with the
no
Klæbo club.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he didn't even have to do that. He's skiing absolutely stunning, beautiful classic technique. He's gliding, but the amount of power and the amount of meters he can get on his rivals. And these rivals, remember, Bolshinov last week in Konya wins a 15K Classic by 44 seconds, makes him look like an idiot up that last hill. It's crazy. He's so much better.
And also the way he does the downhill. Oh. Because he has his own technique. It's almost faster than the others.
Yeah, no,
Why?
for sure. Well, you know what? Klæbo never seems to be offline. When you have a fast downhill like we see at the race today, you're going sweeping through all the corners, and yet Klæbo always has light enough legs to make it happen. And here we are with the man himself.
Yeah, the man himself, the man behind it all. And congratulations to Norway again, Arild Monsen.
Yeah, thank you very much.
How was this race for you?
Yeah, kind of a special race when they have so, yeah. We thought at the end there was a slow speed the first stage, and then they a little better the second, but at the finish, the last uphill, they wait for Klæbo. Everyone kind of nervous for him, and strange for me that they allowed him to go second down twice, and with 10 meters to Bolshinov, then he can go for his stream, and it was kind of easy.
Yeah, were you surprised, Arild? I mean, Bolshinov at the exchange, he pulled out, he started hammering. I thought, okay, here we go. Bolshunov's going to try and hammer and break everybody away, but he only tried for like 400 meters and then stopped. Were you shocked?
Yeah, I'm not shocked, but I don't understand his kind of tactic. I don't know, seems to me a little strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for us in the booth here too. I mean, I'm just so shocked. But congratulations, Arnold. What an amazing performance.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Arnold. Congratulations. Oh, yes, some good days there.
Yeah, there he is.
2 gold medals and 2.
The pride of Molde, Norway. Harald Monsen.
Yeah.
You can't help but be happy after a day like today. He secured the 2nd sprint gold medal. And if you're the sprint coach, there's only 2 gold medals up for grabs, and now he's got them both. So hats off to Arnold.
Yeah, this is the podium you actually had. Norway, Russia, Italy, wasn't it?
Oh, you know what? I hate to say it, but that's the podium Alex had. I had Finland, and if Finland would have stayed on their feet, I think it could have been quite the little battle for the 3rd place. But Alex Harvey, I tip my hat to you. Congratulations with the picks.
All right. But we see this again. Oh, yeah, we have Italy. Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations. What a great performance.
3rd place. Are you satisfied?
Yeah, really satisfied. It was a lot that I I'm waiting this medal, so I'm very happy. And yeah, my feelings were not so good in the semi-finals, but in the finals I feel better. So yeah, it's a great day.
Was it hard to sit out the 30K yesterday? You've had such good shape. In Konya, you had a couple great races, and you obviously decided to take the risk, sit out a 30K, which is great for you, and to secure a podium today?
Yeah, we decided to not start yesterday, because even in Konya, if I felt very well in the sprint, the day after I was a little bit tired, so we decided to don't start yesterday, to concentrate on today. That has been a great decision, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Secured a medal. And what's up next? The relay looks good for you guys as well.
Yeah, I think that in the relay we had a good chance, but the relay is a strange race. So if we all the 4 athletes of Italy will have a good shape on Friday, we can take a good result. But yeah, it's difficult because also the other has good athletes. So we will see.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Great day for Italy and yourself and Federico Pellegrino.
Yeah, thanks you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Fabiani there with the bronze medal. But everyone here, I think, is surprised that Bolshoi actually took it on top there. Because he tried to pull to his right, like to make a dummy, but no one fell for it.
No, exactly. I think he was trying to hope to draw somebody to go into the inside. They didn't. And then in that key moment, he just let him down the hill. The biggest surprise is what Arnold was talking about as well. Through the exchange, Karsten, he pulls out of the track. He's on the inside tight to the V-boards, blows past everybody into the lead, and then I'm like, ho, here we go. Bolshunov, there's no better classic skier in the world. Well, there's one. It's Iivo Niskanen, and he's not doing the anchor leg for Finland. And I'm like, here we go. He's going to do the entire sprint course, guns blazing. And instead, he did that for 400 meters, decided to pull in, and then they played it tactically, and then he missed the tactics yet again. I'm a bit in shock.
Yeah, all right. And I understand that Johannes Hesselkrebbe really happy, but think about Emil Iversen, what happened 2 years ago. Here's the winners.
As the new world champion in the team sprint, you got your revenge. How does it feel?
It's amazing. I think we both has worked very hard for this, and yeah, we was really motivated for going fast today. And yeah, after what happened in 2017, it was very good revenge, and it's very special to win here for sure.
Emil, it's quite emotional, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good for me. I'm really happy. It's a huge weight off my shoulder. I know I'm good in this, and last time we went through, I was a bit unlucky, but today we are the best.
It was quite a show up on the last hill. Any words for that?
Yeah, I think we see the same in this final as in the sprint final. No one wants to go first in the last downhill there, and yeah, I think I got the perfect position and get second, and then it was just trying to push everything in the last uphill and into the finish. So it's amazing. We're really happy.
Now it's time to celebrate. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well, Emma Iversen said he was unlucky, or had
You can
some
call
weight
it
on his
unlucky.
shoulders 2 years ago, and now
yeah.
today he was lucky. It wasn't lucky. It was pure performance.
No, it was pure performance. Emma Iversen had such a great day, and so did Johannes Kleber, of course. But after their tough day yesterday, we heard from their coaches yesterday, after they got dropped from that lead pack that was so strong in the 30K, the news came down to the two athletes: save your energy, tomorrow's going to be a tough one. And they made it look easy, Karsten, but this race is punishing.
Because the day after the skiathlon, and you were surprised that they didn't pull out yesterday because they were way behind. They still finished the 30K.
Yeah, I was in some ways a little surprised, but at the same time, it's really, really classy of Emma Iversen and Klæbo to just get to the finish line. That's always so important, and good for them, and today they have a gold medal.
Oh, and also Sweden has a gold medal. Let's go to the flower ceremony.
Ladies Team Sprint Classic.
What a moment for the Swedes. Stina Nilsson on the left of your screen, Dahlqvist alongside her, and slightly surprisingly, Nilsson taking that first leg, but the explanation was she did not want to have to lunge for the line. Norway on the podium yet again, but this time in third place. This is the only race so far at these World Championships where Norway have not won. But a bronze is still a bronze. Nice to see Østberg and Faller celebrating that.
It is. They're delighted. Didn't work out the way they entirely wanted, but they're happy.
And this is the big surprise of the championship so far. Wijnar and Lampitz, 8th 2 years ago when they teamed up in Lahti. They make it silver today. And those smiles have been on their faces for the last 45 minutes. I think they'll still be there at the end of the championships. What a day for them.
For Sweden. First place, world champions, Team Sweden, Stina Nilsson, Maja Dahlqvist.
They haven't won this title since 2011, when Charlotte Kalla and Ingmar's daughter teamed up. Today, they made it look very, very easy. Stina Nilsson, the World Cup leader in the sprint, the Olympic champion in sprint, on very good form, and her groundwork really setting up Dahlqvist for the attack at the end.
And look who's giving the flowers, the great Gunde Svan. Swedes will like that.
Yeah, and what a race. It's worth winning for the likes of Nilsson just to be awarded their flowers by the great champion of the 1980s. Gunde Svan, multiple overall World Cup winner, a short career, far too short, retired. He had illness problems at the end, but Mike, he was in a class of his own.
He certainly was, and I think the race formats today would absolutely suit him, but he still took 33 wins.
The world champions, the national anthem of Sweden.
So Stina Nilsson adds another gold to her collection. I guess the advantage of a team sprint, Mike, is not only do you get yourself a gold medal if you win, but you get yourself a mate for life. What a bond those two will have created.
Very much. You can see that bond. They've, in training, been through this so many times. The painful hours in the summer, you don't get the glory in the summer. They've got the glory now. And Slovenia, for me, that was the most outstanding performance, and so close. They were so close to the top point there. And you know what? Maybe the next major, they'll be there.
I think the motto here in the sprint events has to be just live with the pain, because if you're anywhere near at the top of the final hill, you have as good a chance as anyone, as long as Johannes Husvik-Klæbo isn't in the race. He is a class apart when it comes to the last 400 meters. Faller got it right in the individual. She gets bronze to add to the gold she took 3 days ago Nielsen, of course, silver medal in the individual, has gold today. Any more medals coming Nielsen's way?
I was just wondering that. Of course, the relay, will they put her into the relay? They might. They probably will. So there's another strong chance there. Again, the gold most likely out of sight, but silver a chance. A strong chance, actually.
Nice to see one of the, I was going to say minor nations. Slovenia aren't a minor nation, but lesser nations getting themselves on the podium. And there'll be big celebrations for them tonight. And of course, Italy getting on the men's podium, Mike. There was always a chance of that, with De Fabiani particularly in such good form. That gave Pellegrino a crack at getting in there. And Pellegrino's got a wise head on his shoulders. Bolshinov, very much the opposite. He's an immensely strong athlete, a hugely talented athlete, but he keeps falling down when it comes to tactics.
It's not just about brute strength, and he's got it. He's like a train, a runaway train. He's so powerful, but he does need it. You can't just have that incredible power and strength. You need to have a cunning plan. And the coaches, his coach must have had a chat with him. Scenarios, what happens if, what you should do if. He just seems to want to lead it. He could have been restless and waited at the top. That may have played into his hands.
And if you like seeing big men cry, I can tell you there were tears running down the face of Iversen after that victory. What a relief for him after all the troubles he had in Lahti. You know, the Norwegian fans didn't like what they saw. They were furious that he didn't manage to, you know, bring them home the gold, but he was the one who hurt more than anyone else.
He did. He was there with Norway with almost a gold medal with 100 meters round his neck at the front. He made a tactical move. It was the wrong move. He moved left into the path of the incoming Juha Järvi at like lightning speed, and they both went down.
Well, again, you can argue over whose fault it was, because when someone's coming from behind you at that pace, if they go on the inside, they're asking for trouble, because the leader is always going to try and tighten the corner. And we've had a similar situation here between Ustiagov and Klæbo in the individual sprint, and that's ended up a bit like Brexit, with a 50-50 opinion, certainly in this commentary box.
But Iversen, as you say, putting those ghosts well behind him, and he's a different racer now. He's a different racing animal now. He's sharper, more sparky, more explosive.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner presentation for the 5th Nordic World Ski Championship, Seefeld, Austria, 2019. The men's team sprint classic technique.
Auf Rang 3 für Italien.
Third place, Team Italy, Francesco De Fabiani, Federico Pellegrino.
The third World Championships in succession that Italy have been on the podium. You have to go way back to 2007 when they actually won the event. But third place, putting a big smile on the Italians' faces.
The team from the Russian
Russia,
Federation.
they've gone first, second, Roll on Oberstdorf is what they're saying, because that's their chance to get their own back on the Norwegians. Bolshinov, 3 silvers in Pyeongchang last year at the Olympics. He's already picked up 2 silvers here. He wants to turn them into gold. He still has plenty more chances.
Champions, Team Norway.
Norway, there's a symmetry to their results as well. They won in 05, they won in 09, they won in 15, they've won in 19. They know how to do it. With Klæbo at the helm, they can win any sprint race going. He is nothing short of a sensation. They are now the Olympic and the world champions. Klæbo, at 22, has 5 World Championship medals, 2 gold, 3 bronze, and 3 shining gold Olympic medals. A phenomenal tally for one so young.
He is incredibly talented, and the man to his right, of course, Bolshinov, he's younger. He's 22 as well, but doesn't quite have the strategy plan, the cunning that Klæbo has.
And so the superstar of the 80s will hand the flowers to the superstar of today, Johannes Husfeldt Klæbo.
sehr geehrten Damen und Herren, zu Ehren der Weltmeister, die norwegische
Sweden down in
Nationalhymne.
4th place today.
Ladies and gentlemen, to
And
honor
for
the new world champions,
the 5th time we hear
anthem
the
of
Norwegian
Norway.
national anthem. Well, what a day, what excitement. The team sprint gets better and better year on year. Sweden taking the win in the women's, Norway once again getting victory in the men's team sprint. And now they prepare for the 15-kilometre classic, the men, the women going over 10. That should be an absolute cracker as well.
Team sprint for Nordic combined to start at 1:30.
Yeah, that was the podium for the team sprint this day in Seefeld. The next gold medal event coming up is actually in 1:30 local time. That's the team sprint Nordic combined. We will be back in just a few moments with the highlights from the ski jumping early today, and we'll be back from Seefeld in 20 minutes. But next up here in Eurosport, the highlights from the ski jumping.